An important principle to remember when thinking about chametz and the need to get rid of it is the question of the crumbs, right? How big does a crumb have to be in order for that crumb to be a problem? So if you look at the Mishnah Berurah, Taf Mem Bet, in Seif Chet, the Mishnah Berurah says in Lamed Gimel, Seif Katan Lamed Gimel, he says, when you have a lot of crumbs which add up to a kezayit, to an olive's worth, then it's true that they're all found in the same place, in the same kind of vessel, that they kind of are considered to be a kezayit. But if there is no kezayit, in all the crumbs taken together, then you don't have to get rid of them, right? You don't have to get rid of them at all. And therefore, there may be a machloket in this matter, that even less than a kezayit should be gotten rid of if you find it. And there's a further consideration that it has to be edible. It has to be edible even though we don't usually eat things like that. But if it is old and crumbs and less than a kezayit, then you don't really have to get rid of it. So that, again, b'dikat chametz, as it was originally constituted, is looking for the kind of chametz that you're not allowed to have in your possession on Pesach. And one of the criteria is that chametz should be a kezayit worth. And there's a question in the Shulchan Aruch about whether half a kezayit altogether makes a kezayit worth of chametz that you have to get rid of. But if all of you have is a crumb someplace, right? So then it would seem that there is no absolute necessity to get rid of it, take it out of your house, because when you do bitul, when you get rid of the chametz in your heart and your mind, you dissociate yourself from it, then you certainly can dissociate yourself from crumbs that are lying around, which nobody would be interested in eating. It's important to remember this, because it also indicates to us how much Am Yisrael was willing and interested in being machmir, in being stringent about the matter of chametz on Pesach. And so when we look for chametz, on the night of B'dikas Chametz, we look in the corners and we look in the cracks and we look under the table and we look in the back of closets in the hope that we'll find a crumb, even though we understand, we don't expect to find a loaf of bread, right? We don't expect to find a big cookie jar in some place that we've forgotten it. We don't expect to find spaghetti all ready to be eaten someplace in the back of a closet or in somebody's pocket. And yet, we've been trained to imagine that any crumb of chametz is something that has to be dealt with in a forthright manner. And so this is our ambience. While it's true that in the discussion of the halacha, we might come to the conclusion that not every crumb threatens us on Pesach. Nevertheless, we've been educated and we've been taught again and again that every crumb is guilty and every crumb has to be exorcised in the best possible way and as well as we can do it. So this is the great chumrah of chametz on Pesach, that we don't allow ourselves to be liberal, lechatchila, a priori, but we make every attempt to get rid of all of the chametz, little pieces, crumbs, edible, not so edible, expected, not expected. We try to get rid of all those chametz, and that's what we do at the time of b'dikas chametz. It's true, we have clean houses, and the houses have been cleaned in a kind of a normal way, and we've cleaned all the places we usually clean, but at b'dikas chametz, we look even in places that one would not ordinarily look, because of the fact that you might suspect that, after all, if you have children in the house, or there are people who come in and out, they might be able to actually leave chametz in the oddest of places. And this becomes the ethos of chametz on Pesach. We don't just get rid of the chametz that has to be gotten rid of. We get rid of every bit of chametz that we could possibly imagine. And that's the minhag of Yisrael. That's the way we were taught by generations and by the generation of our parents. Have a good day.